Hi guys, welcome to ValZenDen. My name is Valerie. Today we're going to be talking about Lacquer new Secrets in the Library quad. This is such a beautiful theme and color scheme as well. I'm sure you guys are interested in seeing the swatches, the comparisons, and also some bottle comparisons. So if you're interested in that, just keep watching. Okay, so in case you guys didn't know, I want to just mention it real quick that I do post my first impressions of the PR package when I receive it. I do post them on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you guys can find me. So if you want to see that, I'll leave like my links to all my social medias here as well. You can find it in my YouTube shorts. So if you did see it, I didn't receive like a personalized card for this quad. So I'm just gonna jump into the first thing, which is the nail tattoo, which, oh my gosh, they are so pretty. I'm gonna take them out for you, but this is the back as well, so you guys can see. As of recently, I've noticed that they start putting like everything, all the designs back here so you guys know exactly what it is. But I think it's such a cool idea so you guys are not lost trying to figure out what you want or anything like that. All right, so I just opened it and like, look how pretty that looks. Just poetry and books and all that stuff. It's so pretty. Honestly, I don't think it says anything, but it is very pretty to look at. And also, if you guys didn't know, Lacquer gives you 2 sheets of nail tattoos. They're just kind of stuck together. So here it is, and this is what they look like. They also have pictures way better looking than this on their website, so if you guys want to go check them out there. Now we move into the actual quad, and I absolutely love the packaging. It's so beautiful, so like simple yet straight to the point and very kind of like antique-y looking. I love it. It's so beautiful. And this is the back. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this, but you guys can see that they're all like books, like just kind of the sides of the books, which is so cool. And also the inside is just like the nail tattoos with the chapters of the book in it. Okay, so the first color we have here is called In the Shadows. In the Shadows is described as a charcoal blue polish with a fine shimmer finish. So I do want to preface by saying they all have the same tiny shimmery finish, which I love the consistency. I think it's so cool to see, you know, one collection have all the same finish. I don't think we've ever seen that before from Lacquer, except like the normal creme ones, but I just think it's very interesting to see it be like the same finish. So obviously, I needed to compare all of these to the OG Bibliothèque quad because I know all of you, just like me, I was curious to see how similar they were because obviously they do look similar since they're like a dark toned green, you know, purple, blue, and all of that. So don't worry, I'm going to show you guys all my comparisons. With that being said, the first one that I did is Mr. Darcy. I was 100,000,000% sure that this was going to be identical, but Mr. Darcy is a lot more gray toned, and for some reason In the Shadows to me is more green toned in a way. Obviously, like I mentioned before, the finish is different, but they're very different. Maybe one of the most different ones from this collection, surprisingly. I don't think you guys should be scared of getting the new collection if you already have Bibliothèque. It's just gonna add more variations of deep colors that you already like. And to my surprise, the one that I thought it looked more similar than to Mr. Darcy is At Last, just because At Last is a dark, rich blue, but it has like a tint of green in it. So I found it more similar to that. So if you love At Last, you will love In the Shadows because it's basically like the shimmery version of it. And even so, I think In the Shadows is a tad bit more green than At Last. The next one I put here is The Night Before, and this one is very different. The Night Before, it is just like a night sky blue, obviously in the name. It's more like a royal blue. It's less green. It has more silver shimmers. They're thicker than In the Shadows as well. And it's just like more of an oceany deep blue. So the next one is a little weird. All of these comparisons are a little weird. So the next one that I put for this slide is Reach for the Sky. I just thought that since this is like more of a gray toned color, I just figured that I know Reach for the Sky is not blue, but it's obviously a gray, but I just wanted you guys to see how much like of a gray toned this polish is. And if I could just help one person curious about Reach for the Sky, I feel like I accomplished something. So if you are curious about it, yeah, they're not similar at all, but they are quite in the same kind of realm, like in the dark gray toned kind of stuff. So I think you should be safe if you want to get this one. So after Reach for the Sky, everything just got a little bit weirder. So the first one that I compared it to on the next slide is Sorry Not Sorry. I think the same thing that I said about Reach for the Sky applies to this one, just because it is a dark gray. It is kind of bluey, purpley kind of thing, but obviously they are completely different polishes, but just in case you guys wanted to see it. The next one that I did is Woman, and and Woman is like a true blue polish, even though in my head it was like a dark blue polish, but it is so much blue toned, if that makes sense. And then in the shadows, like I said, it's a little bit more green toned, but just in case you guys, you know, you have Woman and you think it's a little similar, I promise you it's not. The next one I compared it to is Aquarius. This one is the same thing that I said with The Night Before. It is like a true ocean deep blue. Obviously Aquarius is full of shimmers, so that's like the biggest difference there. And the last one I compared it to is I'll Be Home. I did want to put all of the dark deep blues that we have, so I'll Be Home is one of them, but I'll Be Home to me is always going to be like a blue velvet kind of polish. It's a lot brighter, it's a lot blue toned, so these comparisons were hard because I feel like besides all of the blue ones that we have, this one is pretty different from the other ones, as you guys can see. Okay, so for the bottle comparisons for In the Shadows, I feel like it might look a little ridiculous just because I feel like I kind of covered everything I wanted to cover. I did want to show you guys a couple of ones that maybe you guys might be confused with, but trust me, like, they're gonna look very ridiculous next to each other, but let's go ahead and get started. This is next to Meet Me at Space. Here it is next to HBIC. Here it is next to Dark Arts. This is next to Cold Case. This is next to Our Mermaid's Not Sweet, which is kind of weird to put together. This is with Silver Stallion. And lastly, this is next to Virgo. The next one I have here is called Missing Chapters. Missing Chapters is described as a deep gray taupe polish with a fine shimmer finish. This one is so pretty. If you like your taupes and your grays, browns, I feel like you guys are gonna love this polish. And like I said before, it helps that it is so cute with the shimmer finish that it has. And if you guys notice, they are not like super thick coated, so I feel like if you guys want to make it more light, you guys can obviously just add like 1 or 2 coats, but you can obviously build it up like you see that I do. Okay, so the first one that I wanted to compare it to obviously is Dark Academia. This one and Or Worse Expelled are from the past Bibliothèque collection, so for some reason I feel like Dark Arts is a little bit more similar, even though Dark Arts is just like a gray purple kind of color, but I feel like it has like that darkness to it that Or Worse Expelled is a little bit more lighter. The next one on my thumb is Smoky Quartz, and obviously they're not the same, but they do have like that similarity in like the gray brown kind of family, even though Smoky Quartz is a straight up gray color. But I think the reflex, like those rose gold reflex, definitely help it be up here so high. The next one is Hopper. Obviously Hopper is a lot lighter and it's more like of a sandy color compared to Missing Chapters, but I did want to add all of the gray browns from Light Lacquer. And the last one for this slide is Or Worse Expelled. Like I said before, it is a little bit lighter than Missing Chapters. It's a bit more brown toned, so that's why I didn't put it immediately next to it, even though I probably should have, but I hope that clarifies some things. On the next slide, the first one that I compared it to is Enemies to Lovers. At first glance, like their finishes are so different from each other, but I just felt like there was something there color-wise that I had to put it. Obviously, Enemies to Lovers has like that foily light brown tan kind of color, but I feel like in the darkness of Enemies to Lover it's kind of similar, so that's why I put it up here. The one on my thumb is Dirty Dancing. I know this is like a true gray color, but I feel like it has like that browny purplishness to it, so I figured that maybe someone out there might find this helpful. But yes, very, very different. The next one is Mama Lights. This one is very different. It is like a sandy brownie kind of color. Like I said, I wanted to add all of the ones in the same kind of family, but yeah, this one is very, very different. And at the end I put Speakeasy to Me. It's also not alike at all. It's a more rich, warm brown, but like I said, in the same kind of brown family, so I definitely wanted to add it here too. Okay, so for this bottle comparison, I do have a bit more than I did last time. I just wanted to like cover as many colors that you guys would possibly be curious about, so let's get started. This is next to Bah Humbug. This one absolutely should have made it to the list, but this is Super Freak. Here it is next to We Write at Dawn. This is next to I'm Dirty Dan. Here it is next to Lila. This is next to Olivia. This is next to Mrs. Robinson. This is next to Aliana. Just in case, I wanted to put it next to Cold Case. This is next to Reach for the Sky. This is next to Un Poco Coco. And lastly, this is next to Silver Stallion. The next one on the list is called Restricted Section. The restricted section is described as a deep gray-green polish with a fine shimmer finish. You already know how I feel about my greens, so I'm always happy to see a new one being added to the family. I just think it's so pretty. And like I said before, you guys can add like 1 or 2 coats if you want it super light, but I always do 3 coats just so you guys can see like how opaque the color actually is. Okay, so the first one that I added to this comparison was Anti-Hero. It just reminded me of it because it is like a really dark green, but to me Anti-Hero is like almost a black. Like once you compare it to a black polish, you will see it's greenery, but with everything else it just looks like dark, like black with like a little bit of green. But surprisingly, the restricted section is not super far off, but it is not as dark as Anti-Hero. Obviously I had to compare it to Nevermore. You guys can see how much more gray toned Nevermore is and how much brighter it is as well. It's kind of funny how it looks almost like a army green kind of color compared to the restricted section, but it totally is not. That's Chloe, or I think it's called Weed now. The next one I compared it to is Old Money. It just gave me that same vibe, like a gray tone green, but obviously Old Money has a bit more blue in it, but I just felt like it might be useful for you guys. These comparisons, like I said before, it gets weird just because I kind of ran out of colors to put, but the next one that I put is Cold Turkey. Obviously it is way more blue toned and gray toned, but I just figured that maybe you guys might be curious to see it together. I don't know. So for the next slide, the first one that I did is Dark Arts, which to me it was a weird choice, but then when I put them together it kind of made sense just because I know Dark Arts is technically like a black polish, but I feel like the shimmeriness adds like this kind of yellowy green tone to it that it could very well be applied to this comparison. But yeah, like Dark Arts is not green at all, I just want to make that very clear, but I saw something in it that was very similar. The next one that I compared it to is Virgo. I feel like I haven't compared Virgo in a very long time. Shout out to all my Virgos! But Virgo has that similarity in the sense that it has like green and blue shimmers in it, and to me that is like the perfect explanation for the restricted section. I obviously had to put it next to Emerald. To my surprise, Emerald is a lot more like bluey toned than the restricted section, but I feel like it was very worth putting it here. And the last one I compared it to For the Thrill just because it is another deep green polish from Lacquer, but this one is more of like a grassy green. It's so funny because at this point when we had For the Thrill come out, I think it was like the darkest green we've had since I think Emerald maybe. So seeing how far we've come along in the green category of Lacquer is so funny to me. Okay, so for this bottle comparison, I feel like it's gonna make more sense than the other bottle comparisons just because we do have quite a few greens in Lacquer, so I'm gonna compare it to the rest that didn't make it. This is next to Central Park. Here it is next to Hoping to Be Kissed. This is When September Ends. This is next to Silky PJs. This one is a little weird, but I felt like somebody might be helped out by this one, but this one is next to Down in Kokomo. Here it is next to Hefa. This is next to Something Wicked. Here it is next to the Nines. And lastly, this is next to Chloe or Weed. Okay, and the very last one from the quad is called Hide Your Smut. Hide Your Smut is described as a purple taupe polish with a fine shimmer finish. Absolutely love this polish. It is so beautiful. It's like purple, but then at certain light it's not so purple. It's just like if you guys want to start trying purples but don't want to go for a full like tightrope kind of thing, I feel like you guys should start with this one because it's a little bit muted, but it's so gorgeous. It's so beautiful. And how freaking cute is that name? I love that name. It is so funny. Probably my favorite one from this whole collection. Okay, if you're seeing my comparisons, obviously I had to do it next to Dark Academia. That one was like for sure I had to do it, but to my surprise Dark Academia is less saturated than Hide Your Smut. I'm surprised how purpley and warm toned Hide Your Smut is compared to Dark Academia. So if you guys thought they were super similar, they're really not. On my thumb, I put Smoky Quartz because it falls into that gray category. I just wanted you guys to see it against it so you guys can see how much warm and like purpley it looks. The next one that I also thought of putting was Mozart, and to my surprise, Mozart is a happier version of Hide Your Smut. To me, it's in that same realm of gray purples, but it is obviously a little bit brighter. Obviously, it doesn't have the shimmers, so if you love Mozart, I think you guys will love Hide Your Smut. And the last one on this slide is Brujita. Obviously, it is so much brighter and has a ton of shimmer, but it is one of the darker purples that we have, so I obviously had to put it here. The first one on the next slide is Unfortunate Souls. I kind of didn't realize how similar they were, but once I started comparing everything, I knew I had to put it here. Unfortunate Souls, it is so covered in shimmer that it kind of takes away a little bit of how purple it is, and it's overpowered by the green shimmers in it. But I'm telling you, once you like rotate it on your nails, like you guys are gonna see like the dark purpleness of it. So if you like that type of vibe, I think you guys would love Hide Your Smut. The next one here is Protozoa, which is one of the original dark purples of Lights Lacquer. But this one is a lot pinkier toned and it's just a little bit brighter, but it does have like a ton of shimmers. Unfortunately, it has been discontinued, so you can't get it. But if you do have Protozoa, I definitely wanted to put it here. The next one on the list is Burberry, and it's so obviously brighter than it, but it does fall into that gray category of like, it's like a gray purple pink. So I definitely wanted to put it here. And just like Protozoa, it is very discontinued, which is so sad to me because it's one of the prettiest polishes we've gotten. And lastly, I put We Write at Dawn. We Write at Dawn is obviously more red brown toned than Hide Your Smut, but it has a tint of purple. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it has a little bit of purple, and I wanted to put it here in case you guys were curious about We Write at Dawn. Okay, for this bottle comparison, just like with the restricted section, we do have a ton of purples, and these are just the ones that didn't make it. This is next to Miss Hepburn. Here it is next to Varsity Jacket. Don't know why, but I felt like I should put it here. This is next to Scorpio. Here it is next to Alexandrite. This is next to Tiny is Mighty. This is next to Nebula. Here it is next to Yzma. This is next to True Love's Kiss. Here it is next to We Come to Party. And lastly, this is next to Amethyst. Alright, for the polish ranking, oh my god, this one is so hard for me. I think this is like the weirdest ranking that I've ever done, just because like my top two and my bottom two can be like flipped around depending on the day. But for right now, I'm gonna say my last place is gonna have to go to Missing Chapters. The only reason why I'm saying that is because I am not typically like a nude wearer, but I really like it because of the glitter, and I don't hate this tone of nude brownie taupe color. It's just, it makes me sad to put it down here. But like I said, the bottom two can alternate and the top two can alternate, so I just gotta feel it on the day. But for now, this is my fourth place. Okay, my number 3 is gonna have to go to In the Shadows. I really like this shade of blue because it's not super bright. It's like muted and it's so pretty. Like I said, I love the shimmers, but for right now, this is my number 3. Alright, my number 2 and 1 are driving me nuts because I want to put them both in number 1, but for right now, it's gonna have to go, unfortunately, to the restricted section. I am crying internally right now because you guys know how I love my greens, and this is one of the most beautiful ones we have in Lights Lacquer, and it kills me to put it in number 2, but for right now, it's gonna be my number 2. I absolutely love it. I feel like if you're gonna get anything, get my number 1 and this one. I'll put them together at the end so you guys can see it. And if you haven't guessed it by now, my number 1 is gonna have to go to Hide Your Smut. I love the name, I love the color. This color just like reminds me so much of, I had my wall painted in my old room when I was like my late teenage years to early 20s, so it kind of reminds me of that and it brings me good memories. So I think this is why it's my number 1. Honestly, if I had to pick 2, I absolutely would pick these 2. They are so beautiful. I love how they complement each other so well. I feel like after green, purples are like my favorite, so yeah, I think you guys have to get these 2. They're so beautiful. Alright guys, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and especially a huge thank you to everyone who used my code on launch day. If you guys didn't know, I do have a code with Lights Lacquer. It is ValZenDen10. I also have an affiliate link and I will leave it down below. Just forever, thank you guys so much. And like I've mentioned in my previous videos, I am trying to catch up with all the previous Lights Lacquer collections that I've missed in the past, ranging from like a year ago to like as of recent. So please just keep your eyes open for that, and please definitely don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers and we're so close. Plus you guys will be able to get updated when I post all of my other polish videos. I love you so much and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.